Hello everyone, happy Friday. I just got off the most amazing call. So I am in Melanie Ann Layer's The Movement, which is a membership, and she's doing a Stages of Wealth series in there where she's going from 10K milestone, 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K, and I was selected to be a speaker for the 50K milestone today. And it was such a beautiful conversation that I just had to come and share this energy, first of all, but also the wisdom and the gold nuggets that I share as often as I can in as many ways as I can in this powerful frequency so that it lands with the person who's meant to experience it. And I was sharing my story about growing from being the single mom that's lived off of food stamps for years and years, going to school, working multiple jobs, and getting let go during the beginning of the pandemic, starting my business, and then growing from 10K months to 15K months and 20K months and 30K months, and then having my first 50K month, which I realized today was exactly 1 year from when I started my business. So I started my business in April 2020. My first 50K month was April 2021. And it was so beautiful being able to look back in this moment and just think about who I had to become in order to create this, like the version of me that was able to attract it, calibrate to that frequency, and open myself to receive it. This is the energetics of wealth that I love being able to talk about and share because it makes such a massive difference when we understand not just sales and making sales and connecting with clients, but also attracting wealth, right? Attracting wealth and being on the frequency of wealth. It's different. It's who you're being. It isn't just what do I do and what do I say and what do I post and what's the sales strategy and what are the launch phases and how do I go through the launch, but it is who do I need to be in order to attract this, in order to become the version of me that can hold it, right? One of the things I used to hear a lot when I was first learning about money energetics was you have to align to the frequency. And I used to be like, what does that mean? Why? What do you mean? I'm not a radio station. What do you mean align to the frequency? Like, what are we doing here? What are you doing? There's got to be something you're doing, and then you're just saying that you're aligning to the frequency. Like, I used to get so frustrated because I would try to logic my way through it, and I would try to like figure out, well, okay, first then I'll do, what's the step-by-step method? Like, break it down for me. What does this mean? Right? And I used to get so frustrated and caught up in like, I'm missing something. I'm not sure what this means. And eventually I did grasp it. And I now teach this to my clients. It's been years, but years ago, it felt like a foreign language. And I do think the language of frequency and energetics is a really beautiful language on its own because it is unspoken. Right? It is this unspoken frequency. It's this unspoken language that you have to feel, right? You have to feel it in your body. You have to bring in sensations through feeling. And one of the things that I was sharing on the call and that I teach my clients that we work on this consistently is you call in where you want to be by envisioning how it would feel when you get to that point and feeling that now. Like however you think that you would feel when it comes into fruition. I remember sharing the story of like, I thought that hitting six figures in my business, like cumulatively, like in my business in a year, or not, it didn't even have to be in a year. Like I was open to it being more than a year, but the most I'd ever made was $30,000 a year, right? I was working $90 an hour part-time while going to school and raising my daughter. And that was the most I'd ever made. And so six figures for me felt like a massive, like it felt like it would be like I absolutely made it, right? And I remember feeling Like when I was getting really close to hitting six figures, I would just envision what it would feel like to be that six-figure version of me. And I stepped into that over, not just one time. I did this multiple times a day, over and over and over, to a point where when somebody would ask me how my business was going, or conversations about my business, conversations about money, it was like I almost let it slip. Like I would almost like, I would have to like catch myself and pull myself back, because I already felt like I was making six figures. And I knew that even back then, I did not want to just miserably go through like what I was going through to get to the result, get to the milestone, and look back and be like, wow, I was miserable the whole fucking time. Like that's not how I wanted to do it. I wanted to be in this experience of joy and presence and play and pleasure. And I wanted to feel that so deeply while I was creating it, right? Which is why when I got really close to making six figures, I was like almost couldn't hold myself back from saying it, even though it wasn't even there yet. I had to remind myself like, wait, you're not actually there yet. Like you haven't actually hit six figures yet. This was in 2020. But I did hit six figures within the first 8 months of my business. So around like October of 2020 was when I hit six figures for the first time. But I called it in because that's how I was feeling. Like I was already there. I was already in that feeling state. Like I knew what it felt like. And it was almost to a point where like it didn't even need to come through, right? Like obviously that's not what I was calling in, but it was almost like if it didn't even come through, I would be so happy and I would be so joyful and I would be so satisfied and I would feel so fulfilled because I really brought in those emotions now. And that's really what I work on with my clients, especially inside the mastermind, inside MAGICMIND, is we're not just creating a business where you're going from milestone to milestone and you're jumping from goal to goal to goal. You are calling in those feelings now, which allows you to be in deep gratitude and be deeply in love with your life right in this moment. Not when I get there, I'll be happy. When I get there, I'll feel better about myself. When I get there, I'll finally be quote unquote successful, right? But actually calling in those emotions, those feeling states now, so that when it comes through because you were already on that same frequency, right? It's not like you're going to be so miserable and then suddenly you're going to attract massive abundance. It's like you are going to be on this frequency of joy and satisfaction and fulfillment. You find a way to channel that and source that from within yourself, right? I made a post about this on my feed the other day where when my daughter was 4, I was 23, I had her at 19. And we had nothing. Like I wasn't even just living paycheck to paycheck. I was borrowing money. I was like putting myself in dangerous situations to make money, right? I was on food stamps. We were on WIC. I borrowed a lot of money. It was hard to put food on the table, right? It was hard to put food on the table. It was hard for rent to get paid. I was working multiple different jobs. I was going to school, and I somehow still connected to this frequency of I am going to choose to love where I'm at and love this moment. I knew she was only going to be that little for so long. I knew that this was the moment that I had to soak up these moments with her. And I was going through so much. Like I'd navigated postpartum depression the first couple of years of her life. I was navigating a really tough breakup with her dad and separation, him moving out, being a single mom, figuring out co-parenting. Like it was really challenging. There were a lot of challenges with my parents and financially and emotionally. I was in therapy. There were so many things that were happening. And at the same time, I really allowed myself to step into this way of loving my life and finding a way to love my life that I'm so glad that I did at that time. And I don't even know where it really came from. It was just, I knew that I had these big goals. And I didn't know that I wanted to start a business really. Like when she was that little, I knew that I'd probably do something for myself, like on my own, in some kind of like position as a leader. but I didn't have plans to start a business, right? But I always had this mindset and this identity of I'm here to grow and I will do whatever it takes to grow. And when I started making money, it was the same concept. I'm here to grow my wealth. I'm here to continue expanding my frequency, who I am, and serving my people, right? So that was really important to me. That was something that was so valuable based on where I was. And I still look back at that time in my life and I'm so grateful. Like, there was a lot happening. I was definitely in survival mode. I was creating, I was like perpetuating a lot of my own wounds and triggers. But I do think one of the things that I held on to, that I still hold on to, is this concept of I was able to feel into how I wanted to feel when it came. I didn't want to just be the person that was like, well, I'll only be happy if this happens and I'll only be happy if that happens. I lived in that for so long. So when I started my business, I knew, when I started understanding the language of energetics and the language of frequency and the language of alignment and being in alignment so that I can attract what I wanted, I understood that wealth wasn't just something that happened. It wasn't just something that would come upon me, right? Like, there are people who chronically buy the lottery, hoping, like, spending their money on this ticket that hopefully will like get them rich, right? Like, hopefully like richness and like a big fortune is just gonna fall in my lap, right? There are people who I think the same energy goes into gambling, right? It's this like, well, I'm not really going to do much about it, but I'm really hoping that it just falls in front of me. This is also like the very broke mentality of like, it's always the it's always the millionaire's fault. It's always like the someone else. It's always the people who are rich. It's always like, it's a very interesting concept when we're not able to take full responsibility. So it's easy to just put it on someone else, right? It's someone else's fault. I hope riches just land in my lap. And I know for a long time, especially when I had a really unsupportive relationship with money, especially when I was living off of food stamps, especially when I was on WIC. Like, WIC essentially gave me and my daughter food, like checks that you can submit for food, and you can only get certain kinds of food. So it was like yogurt and milk and cheeses and things like that, and I couldn't even eat a lot of it. But I mean, it was, it was fine. But it supported her during a time in our life where we really needed it, right? Anyway, it only goes up to 5 years old, like your child being 5 years old. And so I had all these thoughts about money and people who had money. And I knew that when I was starting to make money in my business, that if I wanted to grow and evolve, those are things that I would have to shift among so many other things. I had to learn how to be under a lot of pressure and know that, like, I mean, I'm the head of household, right? when my daughter is at my house, which is most of the week, I am doing like everything. It's all on my shoulders, right? So there's a level of weight that you learn to expand your capacity to hold. And I always tell this to my clients. It's like, you are not incapable of creating like expanded capacity. It's not like you hit a wall and it's just like, oh my goodness, something's gone wrong. It feels so uncomfortable. This isn't how it's supposed to feel. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it, right? Yes, those feelings are valid because it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to create these feelings of discomfort. But it doesn't mean that we're not capable, right? It just means that you haven't expanded your capacity to be able to hold that. So one of the biggest things that I learned very, very early on was, can I operate under a huge amount of pressure in my life to pay the bills, to make sure my daughter and I have food on the table, to make sure that she's taken care of, to make sure that our bills are paid so that we can live, a happy life. And from there, I really realized that I am the type of person, and anyone can tap into this, right? But I don't think that this is often what we're taught from our parents, that we can tap into a level of holding the pressure and then alchemizing it. So it isn't just, oh, this is so uncomfortable. Okay, bye. I'm not going to do this anymore. Right? I believe that the most successful entrepreneurs, like I have created, it's been 5.5 years being in business. I've created over $1 million, like well over $1 million now. And I have learned that one of the biggest things that I've taught myself and that I've cultivated is a level of staying power where it's like, even if it gets really hard, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not leaning away from it. I'm going to continue to double down. And that's a really hard skill. Like, look at the rate of divorces. Look at the way that people show up. Like the everyday average person is not pushing themselves to the limits, right? It's like, oh, this is going to get really hard. I don't like it. I'm going to lean away. I'm going to go and find comfort. I'm going to go find convenience. Like, we live in the era of convenience. Anything can be delivered to your door. Literally anything. And so in a world where everything is like at the, like your fingertips, how do we create a level of staying power where you allow yourself to expand your capacity for discomfort? Because on the other side of discomfort is everything that you want. It's everything that you desire. It is the biggest version of you. It's the version of you that you are meant to become. Right? So it's like, if we can go through the discomfort, not see it as something's gone wrong, and actually allow ourselves to shift into this identity that we're being asked to become, and our hardships, our obstacles, our challenges, any moment that is bringing a level of pain, frustration, sadness, if we can see that as, oh, this is my personalized lesson from the universe to give me the gold nuggets and the keys and the important lessons in order to go into my next level, you will hit lessons and obstacles and challenges and say, thank you. Instead of, oh, great, thank you. The world is out to get me and everything is just going downhill. Like, actually being able to hold it and say, okay, thank you. What am I meant to learn here? Right? It's a very different relationship with our life and the universe, and it takes us out of victim and it places us in this opportunity to lead, right? You're here to lead. So lead yourself first. I had to lead myself through every single one of these challenges, and challenges that now my clients are bringing up to our sessions, because I needed to be able to embody it first before I could teach it, right? And so everything that the universe gave me, it didn't always feel this way at the time, but I'm so deeply grateful for it, because our ability to alchemize what we're feeling and who we're becoming and all those aspects of building a business and growing as a leader, it's so valuable. It's so valuable, and it is customized to us, specifically to where we're at and what we want to create, right? So right now I'm in launch for my mastermind, and this mastermind is a year-long mastermind. It's evergreen. And so you can join anytime. As soon as you join, that starts your year. It's a 12-month mastermind that you can jump into literally at any time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm enrolling for the 2026 class, which means 12 months mastermind. If you jump in now, you're going to get access for essentially the chunk of 2026. Touch close proximity mentorship with me. This is a level of stepping into your capacity, widening your capacity, showing up as the version of you that is here to create wealth, showing up as the version of you that is here to scale your business. We'll workshop your launches and strengthen your sales process and dial in your messaging so it feels clear and it converts your clients. And we're doing it all through the lens of who you're being, your identity, your leadership, how you're feeling in your body, taking care of you as the human, how you're leading your clients and leading in a way that is heart-centered and in alignment with your truest self and the spirit of your business. This is where you take the language of frequency and the understanding of frequency and you bring it into your business in a way where it creates the most the biggest breakthrough year that you've ever had, because you're alchemizing who you're being, your identity, the way that you show up in your business, not just what you're doing differently. Maybe you're creating a new offer. Maybe you're building out your product suite so it's more scalable. Maybe you're creating a couple of different pathways for clients to work with you. Like, you might be doing all of that. And you're doing it through the lens of this version of you that is the most powerful, the most convicted. You feel good while you're doing it, right? The most successful entrepreneurs aren't just the most satisfied when they hit a milestone, when they hit a new milestone, when they get to like the next thing. They are joyful all the way throughout. They're joyful during the journey. They're joyful during the climb, right? That's what makes us magnificent. That's what makes us powerful, is when we're able to channel that, not just when you hit it, not just when you get to the goal, but on the way there. As you're creating it, you can feel those feelings. Just like the example I gave you earlier, I wasn't even at 6 figures yet, and it felt like I was there because I was calling in those emotions into my body. I had felt a level of joy and satisfaction and conviction and power that I wasn't even at 6 figures yet. Like, I wasn't even there. I was probably at like 60K or 70K, like whatever. I didn't even know if I was going to hit it within the year. And I just called in those emotions now to a point where it was like, oh, I feel like I'm already there, right? That's really what we focus on, and we get to compound that. We get to compound that in those moments to build on top of each other, right? And we get to create this life where it's like, yeah, we keep hitting our milestones. Like, that's inevitable. It really is, right? But who are you being in the process? And that's like, if you have that mentality, if you're like me in that way, this mastermind is a best fit for you. You get access to all of my programs that I create throughout the year. There's a 24/7 Slack channel where you can get coaching from me literally anytime. We do 2 to 3 live calls every single month. You get a lot of support from me. Essentially, it's a small group space. So anytime you want to get coaching, anytime you want my eyes on something, anytime you want messaging feedback, or you want to be able to workshop something that's coming up for you, whether it's identity, mindset, like whatever it is, you get that support inside this space, right? This is the space where I pour in the most of my energy and my effort. It's the closest proximity to me, and you get access to everything. You get access to my chamber membership. We do in-person events. Like, it's a truly beautiful, sacred space that is filled with just incredible women. There are 8 women in there right now as we speak. And they're celebrating like 20K months, back-to-back 5-figure launches, being on track for their 6-figure years, like creating multi-6 figures in their business. They're doing such incredible things. And this mastermind doesn't have an income requirement, right? I'm looking for someone who has the energy, identity, attitude of whatever it takes. I'm there. I'm committed. I have staying power. I take 100% responsibility for my results. I've had women come into the mastermind making like their first 5K in their business, and they're blowing up to their 6-figure years. I don't see any limitations. Like, I am not here to put any limitations and restrictions, because I've seen it all. I've worked with clients from their first launch and their first sale all the way to 6 figures and beyond. Like, it is absolutely incredible what happens when you are plugged into mentorship, when you are taking responsibility for your results, and you have a mentor that is right there with you, side by side, in your corner, eyes and ears in your business. Like, we're working on this together. It's you and me, and it's customized to where you are in your business, wherever your business is at. Like, the coaching is tailored to you. So if you'd like to hop on a consult call, we can talk about the mastermind. I'll tell you what I see for you and what our main focuses will be for the mastermind. What your focuses would be in the mastermind, but what I see for you. And then from there, we will talk about next steps, onboarding. You get access immediately from the time that you join, and it gives you 12-month access inside the mastermind. It includes my chamber membership, all of my programs and courses, including all of the ones I've already created and all of the new ones within the year. So you can message me, just send me a DM and say, I'd like to book a consult. We'll get a call on the calendar, and we'll talk about your business, your movement. What are you building? What are you excited about inside 2026? what does success mean to you, right? Do you have kids and you want more time freedom? Are you someone that's like looking to shift from one-on-one into group programs? Are you creating your first course? Like, what are we building in 2026? Let's have those conversations. I love having those conversations, and I will share with you what are the focuses and the strategies that I think will be the most beneficial for you inside the mastermind, and we'll go from there. This is a $15,000 mastermind, or you can pay it monthly across 12 months at $1,400, and there's also a 6-month payment plan as well. So if you have any questions at all, you can go to MAGICMIND, the main page, which is tiffanychung.co/MAGICMIND. It's linked in my bio, and you can DM me, hey, I'd like to set up a consult, and we'll jump on a consult call. All right. Mwah. Love you. Thank you for being on, and I'll catch you next time.